In today's training episode, I'm going to teach you how to step up your webinar game so that you can create tons more sales and even automate the process. Now, if we haven't met before, my name's Justice Eagan. I'm the creator of the Digital Freedom Formula, and I help digital entrepreneurs grow their sales fast while enjoying more leverage, automation, and ultimately time freedom. So if you're new here, definitely consider subscribing to this channel because I put out a new training episode like this every single week, and it includes a free resource that'll help you get faster results with whatever topic we're talking about. So why webinars? Well, if you're here, you're already either looking into doing webinars or you're already doing them, and as you should be, because webinars are the highest converting sales medium that you can use in your marketing online. They have absolutely changed my life. They've changed my business. Webinars have been responsible for multiple 5-figure days for me. I've created probably 3 or 4 different webinar presentations that have done 6 figures. One has done well over $300,000 with just one presentation. So incredibly powerful stuff. And you can automate the webinars so that you can remove yourself from the process and actually start making sales and get that mailbox money, right? Sales while you sleep. Now, in today's training episode, I'm going to share with you 5 keys to making more sales with your webinars. But first, as always, you already know this if you've tuned into other episodes, I've got a free resource for you. I'm going to give you my fill-in-the-blank 6-figure webinar template. You can take this template, you can follow along, and you will craft a great high-converting presentation in no time. It's going to save you tons of time, and it'll help you craft a presentation that converts sales. Really a lot of time, energy, and effort has gone into this, and a lot of coaching and trial and error into making this template, and now you can use it. If you want to download it, if you're on my blog, you can go down below this video and click the button down there, and if you're on YouTube or you're seeing this video elsewhere, you can go to justiceeagan.com/2, and you can likely find that link in the description down below, on the side, up above, wherever you're at. Okay, so what's the first key to creating more sales with your webinars? Well, it's having an irresistible, a really compelling hook. This is going to be what helps people decide whether they're going to show up or not. What's the promise? Now, a couple of tips for creating an irresistible hook. One is that you think of it from a place of what's in it for them. Who's your perfect prospect? What's in it for them? Why is this going to represent something that they want to show up to? Solve a huge problem for them. One big specific problem, make a big promise about solving that problem, and then be specific. Specificity is key. You want to write specifically. You want to be specific in the language. Let me share with you 3 examples of hooks, and you'll see the difference and why specificity is so important. All right, so let's say we're creating a webinar presentation on, webinar presentations, right? So imagine these 3 titles. The first one, 7 steps to creating a webinar presentation. Well, it's straightforward. You know what you're going to get on there, but it's kind of boring. Example number 2 is 7 steps to creating a profitable webinar presentation quickly. You can feel a little more specificity in here. You can feel the speed of it, the simplicity of it. Some of these words start to speak to speed, pleasure, ease, etc. Now, the last example I'll share with you is the simple 7-step framework I use to quickly produce 6-figure webinar presentations like clockwork without spending weeks at the computer or months on costly trial and error. Well, which one would you attend? I'd love to hear in the comments down below, but my guess is that it's number 3. And why? Because it speaks so specifically to the pains and problems and the solution that it's offering to the perfect prospect, to someone who wants to create webinar sales presentations fast and ones that convert. All right, well, now that you have a compelling headline, the second key to creating more sales with webinars is having a great promotion plan. What good is going through all the trouble of creating a presentation, getting the infrastructure all in place, if you're not going to go out there and put your best foot forward when it comes to getting people registered? Typically, when I'm about to promote a webinar, I break it down into 2 categories. What am I going to do with paid advertising? How am I going to use paid ads to go out there and drive registrants? And then what am I going to do organically on social media to my existing list? And I break down a really clear plan, each and every thing that I'm going to do on each day to drive as many registrants as possible. And I highly suggest you do the same. Now, the third key to creating more sales with webinars is going to be getting people showing up. As more and more webinars have become available, as people have options each and every day and night as to where they're going to get their information and their training from, attendance has become a huge problem for many marketers. So what can you do to drive attendance? Well, first of all, despite the fact that we're competing more for people's time, people will show up and they will take the time out for something that matters to them. So the biggest way to drive attendance is to just make sure that the training you're offering, that the webinar you're offering matters. This goes back to the compelling hook, right? We want to make sure that the way we communicate what we're going to be teaching, the information we're going to share, is communicated in a way and crafted in a way that absolutely matters to our perfect prospect. The next thing is having great follow-up in place. Now, typical email follow-up for a webinar includes content. Great content that builds trust and credibility and authority and gets the prospect really anticipating the upcoming webinar. It's teaching into the webinar. And when you get that right, you can do wonders for your attendance. And then lastly, notifications. Text and Messenger are great platforms to get the people. If you have a compelling enough promise as to why to show up, people will likely agree to get texted or to receive a message in Facebook Messenger to remind them, because why? Well, they want to be reminded. We understand everybody gets busy and sometimes people forget, and so people will want a reminder from you if your topic is compelling. Now, the fourth key, once you've got people showing up, is a great presentation. Now, there's a few things that you want your presentation to do for it to be complete, well-rounded, and actually get the job done. And the first thing is you want it to be an engaging presentation. You want it to really engage your prospect, your viewer. You want to get them hooked in early, and you want to give them a reason to hang around and pay attention. The next sign of a great presentation is one that positions the presenter as an authority. You don't want to spend too much time in story time, but you definitely want to have a little bit of backstory and some proof as to why someone should be listening to you or whoever is doing the teaching or the training. Now, also, you want to make sure that your presentation delivers value. A lot of fluff-filled stuff out there. People are tired of showing up on these long, drawn-out sales pitches that don't deliver any actionable items or help them understand something in more depth or make a shift of some sort. You want your viewers, your attendees to know or to feel like they're getting value just by being there, whether they buy something or not. So a great presentation teaches in a valuable way, but what it does is it teaches into a need for your product, your service, your opportunity, whatever it is you're offering. Now, when crafted right, a great presentation will successfully demonstrate the value of your offer and ultimately create a reason, a compelling reason for people to take action. So if you can hit on all of those, you've got yourself a great presentation and you're ready to get out there and rock. But the fifth key, which nothing works without this, is having an irresistible offer. All marketing lives and dies by how good an offer is. So what makes for an irresistible offer? Well, first of all, it's going to solve a huge problem with a lot of speed, pleasure, and ease. People really are, their hot buttons are time, money, simplicity, ease of use, that kind of thing. So, whatever promise your offer's making, your product, your service, your opportunity, when you offer it, when you craft this offer around it, when you present it the way you present it, however you do that has to represent the fastest possible path to transformation for your perfect prospect. Whether you're giving them this huge benefit you want, whether you're moving them away from this pain, you want them to see what you're offering. You want it to represent the fastest and easiest path to that outcome that they're looking for, the transformational outcome that they're looking for. Now, it's likely not your viewers' first rodeo, so they've probably tried things to solve this problem before. Maybe they've purchased products or been on other webinars or gone different places seeking solution. So what can really separate your offer from the other stuff out there and really help you rise above the competition is making sure that your offer has components that handle the biggest hangups and objections that your perfect prospect has. I'll give you an example. I had a course called Social Testimonial Profits where you had to write long copy, and a lot of people think, well, I'm not a writer. So I made sure that my offer had templates, that my offer had fill in the blank paragraphs, that my offer had swipes for people to refer back to, all of these different components so that I can take away some of those hangups and objections that my prospect had. And there's so many different ways you can do it. It can really separate your offer from the rest. So to review, if you want to take your webinar sales to the next level, you want to make sure to cover all these bases. You want to make sure that you have an absolutely compelling hook to get people to register. You want to make sure that you have a great promotion plan where you maximize the amount of exposure and registrants you get. You want to focus on attendance, make sure you've got great follow-up, make sure there's great reminders in place so that you get as many people onto the webinar as possible. You want to hit all those points to have a great presentation, and you want to make sure that your offer is irresistible. Otherwise, none of the other efforts are going to get you the results you want. So that's everything. I hope you got tons of value out of this episode. If you did, I'd love for you to share it or comment down below, and I'll look forward to checking out your feedback. Don't forget to grab the 6-figure fill in the blank webinar template over at justiceegan.com/2 and make sure to subscribe so that you get notified of future episodes. Looking forward to checking out your feedback. I'll talk to you very soon.